sound like doom and gloom, but there are some silver linings. Hi, guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual, guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So, as China had a trillion-dollar trade surplus thus far for the year, between January and July, America had an $840 billion deficit, a 23% increase from 2024, from just that period. But it seems like they still haven't learned their lesson. This came because of trade protectionism and trying to prevent China's rise. Instead of embracing China like a lot of ASEAN and BRICS nations and even European countries are doing, we decided to go a different route. And it turned out to be detrimental to our economy because the Trump administration came back and further increased upon the Biden administration tariffs. What did that do? Well, it caused the American consumer to pay a higher price for the goods. Yes, not the companies selling to us from other nations, but because those nations, all they did was raise the price of the good to compensate for the tariff, and the American consumer was paying the tariff. In fact, when Amazon put the tariff price on the goods, the White House scolded them and they removed it quickly. Freedom isn't so free anymore. Remember that. In turn, China said, okay, well, we don't want your soy. The American farmers went bankrupt, so much so that Trump had to take the same tariffs he was charging the citizens of America and give billions to the farmers. This just happened. It's socialism, but convenient socialism. It's only bad when other countries do it. Well, like I said, we still did not learn from that mistake, because major US automakers on Thursday urged Washington today to prevent Chinese government-backed automakers and battery manufacturers from opening manufacturing plants in the United States. Now, mind you, these are the same companies they depend on for their batteries. You can't make this shit up even if you tried. Warning the industry future is at stake because they know that if the Chinese EV companies come here now, it will crush them. It's the same that happened with Toyota and the European car companies back in the day. American automakers wanted time to try to catch up a little bit. So even today, the American cars cannot compete with the European cars, right? So for example, Ford, that is made in America, will be about here. And the English version of Ford, so this is the American version of Ford, it's about here. The English, the one that's made in England, is about here. Oh, you thought I was just going to say a little bit better. No, it's a lot better. But what America did when it came to Toyota and the European car companies, they blocked them for a certain period of time. So the Americans could come up with something like Ford and GM and stuff that look like it was just as good, but it was not. And then they branded it as Buy American, and they put a stallion horse on it, and the patriotic ones bought it. But the educated Americans went for the BMWs, the Mercedes, the Bentleys, etc., etc. And then the middle class went for Toyota, the majority of them. Well, it's the same thing repeating itself. CATL, the world's largest battery maker and one of Tesla's main battery suppliers, started last month constructing a new factory in Spain as part of its expansion plans. And that's to get away from the tariffs. BYD, the world's biggest new energy vehicle manufacturer, opened its first factory in the Americas last June in Brazil. The Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents General Motors, Ford, Toyota, Volkswagen, Hyundai, and other major automakers, called on Congress, yes, even Hyundai, who is selling cars in China, by the way, called on Congress and the Trump administration to take action in a statement submitted for a U.S. House hearing on Chinese vehicles. Now, mind you, Right now, here in America, what we have is the Stone Age, and I've said it before. It sounds hard. Most people don't want to hear that, but we are left in the Stone Age. We have inferior filth at incredibly high prices that people can't afford. And for some reason, our politicians like it that way. China poses a clear and present threat to the auto industry, they said. In the US, the group wrote, because they know that China is so far advanced technologically. The alliance also urged lawmakers to maintain the US Commerce Department's prohibition on importing information and communications technology and services from China, with software defined vehicles collecting vast amounts of sensitive data, they said. Including geolocation, audio, and video recordings, because what they're trying to convince the American consumer is that China wants to shut down all your cars and kill citizens in America. And believe it or not, some Americans actually think that, because this is what they're being programmed to believe. You see, the sheep will always be led off the cliff. And like I've always said on this channel, all you need is critical thinking and common sense. That's all you need. You don't need a college degree. The rule effectively bars the import of vehicles from Chinese manufacturers. The automakers' lobbying efforts unfold against a backdrop of broader US-China trade relations that have warmed last October, when Xi Jinping said he'll start buying back some soy. It shows you how important China is. Without the Chinese market, the American farmers went bankrupt. Trump praised, and we're not even talking about rare earth minerals and magnets and all the other stuff that we need in everyday modernization. Trump praised an amazing meeting with Xi at Busan Airport in South Korea, where he looked like he wanted to kiss Xi. When he was running his campaign, he was like, China, 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 China. But when he met Xi, he was like, and Xi was like, oh, you disgust me, you pedo. So he went there begging Xi, and Xi relaxed some of the trade tensions by saying, we'll buy some soy and we'll release some rare earth minerals to you. Calm down, boy. Beijing agreed to suspend export controls on rare earth materials critical for technology from electric vehicles to defense systems. Trump said China would also buy massive amounts of soybeans and other farm products. Tariff talks resume with the EU. Yes, that just happened today. As reported earlier on Thursday, because the EU saw what's happening. They see that even with the tariffs, China grew its economy and by another 5%, and they're projecting another 5% next year, while the American economy and the European economy will continue to contract, because like the great Warren Buffett said in his last general meeting before retiring, that let countries sell what they're good at and you sell what you're good at, and it will keep the whole world economy moving. Perhaps he should be president. China and the European Union have resumed tariff talks over a minimum price plan for Chinese-made electric vehicles. Yes, it's getting yummy for the tummy. Next year, it's going to be like the perfect storm for us, guys. Everything will flip. Just like you see, money will start flowing into the Chinese economy. Yet another Chinese company, I can't think of I believe it was Momenta, another one again yesterday filed for an IPO in Hong Kong, not in America. When the flip comes, it will be sudden and massive. Remember, I said that. China welcomes the EU renewed commitment to restarting price undertaking negotiations and appreciates its return to the path of resolving differences through dialogue, said He Yadong, a Commerce Ministry spokesperson at a press conference. The investigation announced by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, the oil vampiress, in September found that China's EV value chain benefits from unfair subsidization. But when we unfairly subsidize the soy farmers and keep bailing out our companies, she's okay with that. She says it threatens economic injury to EU producers. The European Commission concluded its anti-subsidy investigation, but now they're in talks again because they realize what China is doing in return with retaliation is not so pretty for them. The only way to go forward is for the EU to sell what they're good at, for America to sell what they're good at, and for China to sell what they're good at. And Brazil, the BRICS nations, and ASEAN recognize this, and they're doing wonderful business. Brazil is selling their products. ASEAN, all of ASEAN is selling their products tariff free, and so is China to them. I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, boop, boop, boop. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the games are played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.